Hello and welcome to day 2
of the country show.
Right, we are now in our favourite tent.
Tent? We're outside.
They don't know that! It's an illusion! We're in a tent! It's a good tent here! We're in a tent!
Alright, whatever.
What a budget. Anyway, we're in our favourite tent, the cake tent, and it looks pretty awesome. Yeah? Why do we like this tent?
Because we're fat and we love cake.
We're fat, we love cake. Everyone else probably loves cake too. Guys, remember, this is for 2 great causes.
NHS charities, which we know have done a marvellous job in the circumstances we've had, and Wellchild, another amazing charity for young children and teenagers.
Links will be in the description below. Now, let's get to it. Let's get on with the show. So guys, start of day 2. We're here, back at MST, starting with Izeki and ground care equipment with Scott. Scott's going to take us around.
Hi there guys, Scott here from MST. Izeki's 216 model. This model kind of bridges the gap between domestic and pro user. So starting off, it's a 40-inch deck. Big thing about the Izeki machines, it's nice shaft drive. So the deck doesn't have any belts going around it, nothing to heat up, get grass in it. We've got a cutting deck which is 40 inches wide. The nice thing about the Izeki machines is that it's a shaft driven deck. So there's no belts running around the deck.
So Scott, what's the benefits of a shaft driven deck over a belt driven deck?
Well, the nice thing about it is there's no belts running around the deck, so you don't get any grass catch up in there, and it reduces the wearing parts. So your servicing is going to be a little bit cheaper. In theory, you get more power from the engine to your deck as well, and it allows you to have a timed deck, which gives you a better finish. So we've got Izeki's own engine in here, 688cc, 2-cylinder engine. It's a nice big engine that Izeki choose to run at lower revs. That just improves your torque, which means when you get through that long grass, it's going to keep on cutting, and revs aren't going to die down and lose your torque. So that's another big benefit of the Izeki machines. Move around to the back, you've got a 400 litre collector. Izeki have just redone the bag, allowing a lot more airflow to go through, so the collection on this machine is brilliant. There's nothing really that competes with the collection. Cut and collect is exactly what Izeki are known for.
So, Scott's just upgraded the mower, and he's going to go through this one.
So you've joined me here with a 323. This is the next size up. So this is now definitely commercial machine. We get a bigger deck, we get a bigger engine, and we get a lot more operator friendly machine. So we're going to a power steering machine now, so the steering's a lot lighter, a lot easier to use. At the rear here, this is all hydraulic tip, so it's a little bit easier than the smaller models. Moving to the back, obviously the collector's 550 litres, and the big thing about this is obviously it's hydraulic tip. So it's a lot smoother, a lot easier to operate with the tipping mechanism. And also, just around here, it's all adjustable. So you can adjust it depending if you're cutting in the wet or cutting in the dry. Little thumb screw, and you can adjust the sensor. And this tells you when the box is full, which is a nice little feature. Great thing that Izeki have done is if you have a quick look under here in the gap, they've taken the rear axle away. So there's no rear axle, it's chain drive coming down from the side, which allows this nice big aperture when the grass can come straight from the deck into the box. So there's nothing slowing it down, it doesn't have any humps to go over. And if the grass does settle back in there when you're driving to where you're tipping it off, there is a little flapper pad there that you can flick any residual grass back into the box. So it's a great way, and this is why the cut and collect design from Izeki is brilliant. This machine goes up a cylinder, so you go to a 3-cylinder machine. 3-cylinder engine, and the controls are nice and easy. So stepping up from the 216 we spoke about. Now for the controls, they're really simple. Izeki don't complicate things. So you've got a foot brake here, which allows as your parking brake as well, which you can just tilt your feet forward. You've got 2 pedals, a backwards and a forward. This one here is obviously your flap at the back to get rid of your grass, and a hand throttle. They don't make it complicated. It's nice to service, it's nice to operate, and it's simple to use. One thing to think about, obviously this is a hydrostatic model, which allows you to slow down and speed up, doesn't matter what your engine revs are. So if you've got a curb in front of you, you can just ease your foot off the pedal and it'll slow you down. Touching briefly onto the 3400 tractor race. So this is one of our most popular models, Izeki 3400, 40 horsepower tractor. It's got a ton capacity lift on the back. It's hydrostatic again, so it's nice and easy to operate. It's got Izeki's own 3-cylinder engine, selectable 4-wheel drive. It's got diff lock as well, And there's a multitude of implements that will fit on this, and we also do an MX branded Izeki loader, which comes in blue, which you can operate obviously your front end. You can have a third service, you can have a grab on it, and it will tow 3 ton.
So guys, thank you very much, Scott, and thank you to MST and Izeki for presenting us with these machines. Now guys, over to Nick from Nick's farm and see what he's got.
Thanks Justin, it's great to be at a country show this year. The weather here in Northamptonshire today is a bit windy, and we've had a spot of rain as well, but that's no bad thing, to be honest. We really need the rain. It's been so hot and dry lately that we need a little bit of rain now to sort of help move things along, let things sort of catch up with themselves a little bit. So right now I'm standing out in one of our wheat fields. I'm going to explain a little bit about the process of growing wheat and why we choose to grow it here on our farm. I'll just start off with a couple of quick little facts for you guys. There's about 1.9 million hectares of wheat grown across the UK, and that equates to about, well, somewhere between 14 and 16 million tonnes produced a year. If you compare that back to the early 70s, where we weren't growing so much and the yields were much lower down, where we were only sort of producing about 5 million tonnes annually, yeah, there's definitely been a rise in the amount grown. So the UK 2020 harvest is predicted to be well down, mainly due to the very, very wet autumn we had, the wet sowing season we had at the end of last year, followed by, well, I'm going to say a drought. We've been in very, very dry conditions over the last few weeks, so yields are going to be down. A lot of people have decided to sow their wheat in the spring like we have, as we couldn't get on the ground in the autumn, and a spring crop will never yield quite like a winter crop will. So yeah, everybody's in the same boat, but yes, predicted to be down this year. A lot of people, when they think of wheat, they think of bread, and bread is one of the many products that wheat is grown to make. Historically, in the UK, we couldn't quite meet the standards or the protein content needed to produce bread. But obviously now, sort of over the last 50 years or so, with modern agronomy and new varieties coming in, we can definitely sort of meet that grade and we can sort of hold our own now. But if the weather's not with the farmer, because of our maritime climate, even though we can produce high yields, we can look back at reverting to more reliable sources, such as producing wheat for animal feed, biofuel, biscuits, confectionery, breakfast cereals, gluten extraction, and of course straw. Straw's a very important byproduct of growing wheat. It's used for a number of things, mainly with livestock, for animal feed, animal bedding. I use it myself as we keep a small flock of sheep. It's also been known to be used for thatching, thatching roofs. Obviously with thatching you need quite a long crop, a tall variety. The varieties used for thatching, Widgeon and Huntsman, they're old varieties which are sort of a little bit unpopular now for your average wheat grower. So a little bit about how we grow our wheat here on our farm. We've, in recent years, sort of done away with the whole conventional ploughing system. We now direct drill all of our cereal crops. We use a direct drill to sow the wheat straight into the previous crop's stubble, which obviously saves fuel, it saves time and labour. The best thing with direct drilling is it conserves the moisture in the ground, which is very, very important. And work rates are really high now because we've got a big 6-metre drill which we pull with our John Deere tractor, which means that we can cover a lot of ground in quite a short space of time, which again is very important because being in England with the weather, as we all know, can be up and down. We've only sort of got, you know, short windows to sort of get things done, get the work done. Another good thing about direct drilling is it helps maintain soil structure and also improves it as well. And we're also seeing an increase in the earthworm population, which is another good thing. So in recent years across the UK, we've seen quite a big problem with blackgrass. Blackgrass is a very dominant grass weed that can really have an impact on wheat yields. Herbicide control on blackgrass can be quite poor in some fields. I think I speak for all wheat growers when I say we're sort of desperate now for a herbicide that can really, you know, a reliable herbicide that can really start to control this blackgrass a bit more. I think the holy grail for wheat growers would be a variety that establishes quickly, possibly from direct drilling, something that's resistant to foliar diseases, which too can have an impact on yield, followed obviously by resistance to blackgrass, something that yields well. Well, one can dream. Thanks for watching, everybody. The sun has decided to make a bit of an appearance now, so well, hopefully there's a bit more rain to come. We definitely need it. It's been getting quite dry out there, but anyway, I hope everybody's keeping safe and keeping well. I just want to say a big thanks to Justin and team for having me. I think it's absolutely great what they're putting together. So yeah, cheers for watching, stay safe, and now back to Justin. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Nick. That was awesome. We're now over here at the class stand with Tom from class and Hambley's down here in Devon. So without any further ado, Tom is going to take us around.
Here we have the Liner 2800. This is the middle of the range for the twin rotor rake. We've started with a 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 and 3.1. The 2.8 has got 7.4 to 8.2 working width. It's got 12 tine arms, and on these tine arms, exclusive to class, we've got a predetermined stress point here. So obviously things do go amiss. If someone hits something in the field, it'll bend there rather than damaging back here in the cam track. The cam track is oil immersed with large bearings, so maintenance free. It's got a track width of 2.97, and here we have, to alter the height control of it, you've got two adjustable handles here to higher and lower the height on the ground. We also got the single rotor rake. I think we've got 4 models in there, ranging from 3.2 to 4.7 metre working width, and we've also got 2 4 rotor rakes, the 3600 and the Liner 4000. That concludes with us with our rakes. We'll move on to looking at the tractor now.
Looking at the tractor, Tom, there's a fair bit of chrome on here.
Always looks the part, doesn't it? Yeah, you've got to add a bit of style to the tractors, haven't you? We're looking here at the 660, which is the largest of the 6 series. The 660, as you can see on the door, has got C-Matic on it. That is the class Vario gearbox. The 660 is only available in a Vario. In the 6 range, you've got the 610, 630, 650 and the 660. The other 4 models are all available with Hexa shift, and also the C-Matic, but this one is only available on the C-Matic. This is a CIS Plus. If we go and look in the cab in a minute, we'll see the difference on that. Here is a 6-cylinder engine. It's got a DPS engine in it, and then this one can boost up to about 205 horsepower, a standard of about 175. This model has got, this tractor's got a front linkage PTO. Let's go on the other side and we'll look in the cab.
Now, with everything I've seen so far, I actually haven't been in a class cab ever, so this is a new one for me. But on the far side here, the control panel is like hardly anything. It is very, very clear, giving you more visibility at the door. Why is that, Tom?
Basically, operator driving, it's nice to clear view there and keep everything tidier here, and on the display screen on the CIS Plus up there. That's where you can adjust your spool valves. You can set all the rates and flow rates up there, and to keep the right hand view better. We've got the rail here to mount consoles and monitors on. Everything's to hand. PTO switches are here, suspension control, isolator. In this one here we've got 4 electric spools. We've got 2 here and then 2 on the joystick here, which also incorporates forward and reverse. This tractor here is auto steer ready. Class use their own easy guidance system, so it's fully compatible with this one. So it's just plug in and play. It's got the, here you've got engine speed settings, 4-wheel drive, diff lock, auto steer, and then here you've got your draft control with your linkage control as well. And this is a Vario tractor. Everything falls to hand here, lovely.
Well, I'd like a massive thank you to Tom, class, and a big thank you to Hambleys for having us. There'll be links down below if there's anyone with any question on class equipment or anything Hambleys may be able to offer. And again, massive thank you to Tom himself for giving up his time to show us around. Now from here, let's go see what his Royal Shortness is doing. Back over to you, Ads.
Well, Justin, I'm here at the Mccormick stand at RSM Beers with Simon again to show us the range of Mccormick tractors. Right, so I must admit, this Mccormick here, I really do like the look of this. So here's the man in the know who's going to tell us all about it.
Welcome to the Mccormick stand. First of all, X7, one of our second largest range in the Mccormick range. X8 would be top, and that one tops out at 300 or 310 horsepower. These boys top out at 225 horsepower. This is a larger frame of the X7s, being the 680s. This tractor actually has the Iveco engine in it. He's 140 horsepower. This one's got the Argo transmission in it, so 2-range CVT. Also equipped with the Mccormick loader. So nice, tidy little tractor. Cracking little thing, really. Nice, small size, 4-cylinder tractor.
So this tractor here, if you were at Lama Show this year in January, you would have seen this tractor up there. This is the actual competition tractor from Mccormick. So just looking at the tractor, one obvious notice is, why is it a darker shade of red?
The metallic ruby is a premium paint, so all the premium tractors are coming in, X6 and X7 and X8 coming in the metallic. We can have it as an option on the efficients. So on the X7 range, we have a premium and efficient range. Efficient come in a normal red, premiums come in the metallic, but we can chop and change as options.
So again, thank you to Mccormick, RSM Beers and Simon for showing us around these tractors, and I reckon these tractors are really a brand to watch. So again, massive thank you to RSM Beers for showing us around, and again, the link to their website will be in the description below, so go have a look at RSM Beers. Thank you to Mccormick and Beers for showing us around that. Now let's go see what that big oaf is up to.
Looks great over there, Ads. Those tractors are absolutely popping. Now I'm here with Holsters of Honiton, and Nick has given us his time to show us round this Ovlac plow.
Hiya, I'm Nick Clark from Hull, Southwest. We are the UK importers for Ovlac since January 2016. Ovlac are a family business, 4th generation, manufacturing ploughs, cultivation machinery since 1936. And here today we've got a XP HV 300 plough. Big feature of Ovlac ploughs, Ovlac machinery generally, is they use hardox wherever they can. Now hardox is significantly stronger than steel. I've got 2 pieces here, these are only 2 mil thick. This is Hardox. This is just 2mm mild steel. And the little party trick. So you can appreciate when you make something like this of Hardox, how strong it is. Starting at the front of the plough. This plough was introduced into the UK beginning of this year. We did a couple of trials with it towards the end of last year, but really on the market from 2020. Big difference between this and the current range we still have, because this is actually an additional range. It's not replacing the range we have, but it's actually an additional range. What they've gone for now is this hollow centre shaft, 150mm, big diameter, obviously nice and tidy for the hydraulic hoses to come through. What we've also got now, because this plough is obviously a hydraulic trip leg plough, hydraulic vary width, but we've now got a pressure gauge actually on the headstock, and we've also got a pipe, so it's permanently connected to the tractor. You could if you wanted to or you needed to, you could in theory alter the pressure on the move, but I'm not sure if anyone would really need to do that, but you could. Centre shaft is one piece. All this cast here is one piece. There's no welding on it at all. The unique selling points on all Ovlac mounted ploughs is an oscillating cross shaft or self-aligning cross shaft. And the way you use it, you would have your check chains rigid on your tractor, fixed, i.e. not floating as you would normally do with ploughing, but you'd have them fixed. You then, when we're going ploughing, take out the transport locks, which have a storage place there. When you put the plough on the ground, effectively this is going to pull forward, and in the centre we've got this horseshoe. So the cross shaft, it can't move sideways, it can only pivot 30 degrees around that point. But again, this is all solid Hardox. The idea of it, and it does work, is the plough is effectively self-aligning, because you're pulling in the centre of the plough and the plough will align according to the pressure you've got on the moldboards, whereas the pressure on the landslides. So effectively you're self-aligning. Another big difference on the new generation of Ovlac ploughs is this parallelogram design, and what we have here is effectively you've got two arms there, and as you're altering the plough width or the front furrow width, effectively you're moving on here. Fitted to these ploughs also is a hydraulic front furrow width gauge, which is pretty useful for seeing how much, seeing where you are. It's also a vary width, hydraulic vary width. It'll go from 10 to 21 inches.
Now we're on the moldboard side of the ploughs, and Ovlac have got a bit of a secret with what they do to their moldboards, which Nick is now going to explain.
Moldboards are made of case hardened steel, and I don't know if you can see the black circle around this, the black line around the outside. That is the case hardening, whereas in the centre it's still a little bit flexible, so you've still got some flex. But no, it's good.
Hardened outside, moldboards got a little bit of flex in them still. So you plough boys, you arable boys,
you need this.
Be looking. Look, check one of these out.
Another key feature of Hardox is you can keep the weight down, so you can make something incredibly strong, but at the same time keep the weight down, and that's why on all Ovlac ploughs it's Hardox, it's Hardox, it's Hardox, Hardox. Anything that's flat steel. You can't make the beam from Hardox because it's a beam. Hardox needs to stay flat. And they use a Hardox, if anyone's really into Hardox, it's a 500, grade 500. Ovlac being a Spanish company, they mainly use Hardox because of the dry, tough conditions they get in Spain. And they have found over the years Hardox to be the strongest and best steel they can use. if they start using different sorts of steel, they don't get the longevity out of the machines. So another reason for Hardox. As you see it now, it's a 5-furrow plough, although the plough is rated up to 300 horsepower and up to 6 furrow. Obviously if I had a 6 furrow now, it's going to be out here and wouldn't fit on my trailer. Also weight, this plough, it weighs 2,540 kilos, and being that most of it's made of, say, Hardox, obviously it's a really strong plough. If you were bolting on the 6 furrow, you've just got a flange here. Obviously we put another modular bolt to the flange and then move the wheel back. You have got 2 options with the wheels. This is a combi wheel, so we use it for ploughing and on the road. When you want to use it on the road, put the plough on the butterfly and then move the pin over. Effectively the wheel will be over here, and then you're ready to go down the road. Take your top link off. Always take your top link off. Another option for mounting the wheel, some people say you get better draft with it being on the back, whereas some guys, they want to plough sort of every last inch, and we've got the option to have that wheel, we call it advanced. Effectively it's up here and you get in, the wheel is actually inside the beam then, so you can't get any better than that. So again, two options. Beam on this plough is 150 by 150 mil, 10 mil. On the ploughs rated up to 220 horsepower, we use a 150 by 100 mil beam, but 5-6 furrow rated up to 300 horsepower square beam, 150 by 150.
Now looking around this plough, there are grease nipples on these pivot points, but there's not grease nipples on the ram points. Any of them. Nick, why is that?
There's a good reason for that, Justin. These are Teflon bushed. So here, here, turn over around at the top. These pivot points here, they're all Teflon bushed. So we've sort of gone away from grease nipples, sort of moved on a bit now. We're Teflon.
Now guys, there's a huge surprise to this plough. Nick, would you like to explain?
Yeah, many of you may have spotted this one's black, whereas normally our ploughs are red. This one is the only black plough in the world, and the reason being that 2021 will be 85 years of Ovlac manufacturing. So we jointly thought it was a good idea to run a competition, have a black plough, and we will draw the winner at Lama 2021. So to promote it, we've just done it in black rather than red. Hence the name XPHV, which is what the plough is. Black edition is black. 1936, 2021. Remember that, because that's one of the questions, and I've just given you the answer. Log on to enter the competition, ovlac.com/en/contest. 3 years ploughing.
Right guys, massive thank you to Nick for giving us his time to show us around this Ovlac plough. Huge thank you to Ovlac to showcase us as well, and a massive thank you to Hulse of Southwest. Again, links will be left below. Check out Hulse's huge line of machinery down there. Another thing to remember, also I'll leave a link on this competition in the link below as well, so please check it out. Now we are going over to Joanna at Dale Farm and see what she's got in store for us.
Thank you, Justin. We are here at Dale Farm. I'm going to introduce my dad. His name is John Shimwell, and he is a very big tractor enthusiast. He's going to talk you through the tractors that we have here at Dale Farm. Over to you, John.
Well, the first one to show is a 1948 Fordson Major E27N. This tractor was Fordson's, after the war, very keen to bring out a new model, the standard Fordson, or the Model N, which the standard Fordson, which was effectively known at, was in use all through the war years, but was out of date, and Fordson were desperate to bring a new tractor out because sophisticated tractors are coming in from America, etc. And this was it, the E27N. And a lot of even Ford fans will say they were rather outdated when they came out, but that's because of the wartime restrictions. It's basically the same 1917 side valve engine upgraded to 30 horsepower, a more efficient rear drive, and of course with the option of self-start, which this has got, hydraulic lift, which this one hasn't got, and they were sort of a basic but a good tractor. They're in production from 1945 to 51, often referred to as a stopgap tractor, but 250,000 were sold, and they yes, they did the job. They just came with two gearbox variants. There's a low box and a high box. The low box did about 4.5 miles an hour in top gear, and the high box about 9. But the problem with the high box, you're very limited. You only sort of 2 gears for field work, unless you did a lot of road work. The high box one wasn't terribly good. But yeah, Fordson Major E27 and built at Dagenham, England. Well, this tractor was registered on January the 1st, 1951, so it's actually a few months older than I am. No comments. A Ferguson TE20, TED. TE stood for Tractor England, and the variants were A, D and F. A was petrol, D was TVO and F was diesel. And while the standard Fordson was a sort of tractor which we say won the war on the home front, this little Fergie revolutionised agriculture with its revolutionary 3-point linkage, a feature which was brilliant and so ahead of its time, and that every other manufacturer's copied ever since. Ferguson was a genius, but also I think quite a difficult man to work with. He fell out with David Brown, he moved to America and fell out with Henry Ford before he came back to England and started to build his own tractors at Coventry, and in the old, I think he used the engines basically a standard car engine. And also Ferguson was a great lover of the petrol engine because they were very powerful and easy to maintain and sort of cheap to build. And this was okay because I don't know how long it had been going, but throughout the war years until about 1947 there was agricultural petrol, or a cheap rate petrol, and that was axed in 1947 despite lobbying from Ferguson, so I had to bring out a TVO model fairly quickly, and they brought it out in 1948. This is a 51 version. And they were, yeah, quite a good tractor. It enabled a small, lightweight, compact tractor to do a multitude of tasks on the farm, providing you had the equipment, to go with it. They're in production until 1956. Literally 500,000 were made, and many are still in use today in Australia and New Zealand, and of course up in the Scottish Highlands you see them still in use and doing the job they were designed to do. Ferguson didn't bring the diesel engine out till about 1954, but again they were very, very good tractors and sold. Well, Fordson tractor sellers call them the Grey Menace because they are absolutely everywhere. They were everybody's idea of an ideal little tractor. Well, again, this is a 1951 David Brown Cropmaster, and I've just been informed it was registered in July 1951. David Brown, as I say, had ventured into the tractor business. David Brown were initially gear manufacturers, and I think still are. And if you go to Llandudno and ride on the tramway up the Great Orme, the station where you change over to go to the top, you walk past all the winding gear and it's stamped David Brown. Well, this is they. David Brown had built the legendary Ferguson Brown from 1936 to 39 before they fell out with Ferguson, and then built their own tractor, the VAK1. Of course, that was very much interrupted with wartime production, and many found their way onto RAF sites. One or two farmers around here that we knew had them, and they were very good little tractors, but it was the Cropmaster in 1947 which put David Brown firmly on the map as a major British tractor manufacturer. They were brilliant tractors, slightly heavier than the Fergie, appealed to sort of farmer contractor types, and whereas the Ferguson you say was like a 2-furrow tractor plough, the Brown Cropmaster was sort of a 3-furrow tractor plough. A lot of people regarded them as the fast track of the day, really. There were 2 seats, 6-speed gearbox. You got this cowl round here which kept heat from the engine in and also protected you somewhat from the weather. And again, this is a TVO model. David Brown did diesel engines from 1949. And again, a 6-speed gearbox, which again was quite an advancement because Fergie had 4. The old Fordson at the bottom had only 3. So they were very, very ahead of the field. The most popular tractor David Brown built, over 59,000 of these were made. And I go as far as to say possibly one of the best tractors David Brown made. We used to have them on the farm, and I've spent hours on these with a single row Bamford Wolfler in 5th gear, flat out. Boy, you can cover some ground. Jump the years a little bit, 1967, Massey Ferguson 135. Ferguson had sort of, well, joined or amalgamated with Massey Harris. For a while, the Ferguson made their own 35. It was called the FE 35. Then they became the Massey Harris Ferguson, then the Massey Ferguson 35. But it was 1964 Ferguson had a relaunch for the Smithfield show that called the Red Giant range. There's the 130, the 135, which is this, 165, 175, all available with multi-power, and they were really very, very good tractors. Ferguson used to advertise in the farming press in the 60s that 1 in every 4 tractors sold in the UK wasn't just a Massey Ferguson, it was a Massey Ferguson 135. And it sort of capitalised a little bit. Ford had also introduced their 1000 range at the Smithfield show, but they had engine issues with 1 or 2 models, and Ferguson just really capitalised on that. It's got the Perkins engine in. This tractor is a local tractor supplied from a dealership, which wasn't much more than 1.5 miles from where we're standing now, to a farm just north of Bakewell. And it's been on this farm since 1981 and has done a lot of work. For the first 10 years we were dairying, it did all the scraping and shed cleaning and you name it, it did it. And if you look at the steering wheel, you see it's down to the metal in places, and it's done over 6, the clock stopped at 6,000 hours, must have done 7, the engine's never been touched. In 2009 we put new mud guards on, sprayed it and just rebadged it, but the engine is original, a cracking tractor. Nuffield, well, I've also had a great affection for Nuffield tractors, going back to me being a little boy and riding around on the contractor's M4. William Morris entered the tractor market in '48 at the Smithfield show with his M4 Universal. A very good tractor, modern design, 5-speed gearbox, very well built, very popular with farmer contractors, and they were built at the old Wolseley plant at Ward End, Birmingham. And throughout the 50s, people regard them as mainly the Rolls-Royce of tractors. They were very good tractors. A move to Scotland in 1960-61 to a purpose-built plant at Bathgate was a little bit troublesome, as you may expect, going to a new plant, and there were bits of issues with engine problems, and I'm afraid the Nuffield name took a bit of a hammering. Also, by 1967 their tractor was still the basic 1948 shape, whereas Fords and Ferguson all had sort of revamps. So this was their new tractor. There's only 2 models, the 465, which is this, and the 345. And I think people were a bit downy on them at the time, thinking, oh, Nuffield. And there were issues, engine balancing was an issue, and liners blowing was an issue. But once sorted, they were good tractors. The fact of how many are around still today and, going well is a testament to them. And I'll even put my neck on the block and say I think they're possibly one of the most underrated tractors of the 60s. You've got 65 horsepower, 10-speed gearbox, hand-operated clutch, and fast. I call this one the Overland Flyer. Now we changed breed completely. These MTZ tractors from Belarus started arriving in this country about 1969. Basic, basic isn't really the understatement. Basic and sort of crude, but heckishly reliable and good solid tractors, very, very cheap. And a lot of them worked hard, and then when they went wrong just left. So I wanted one of these, and to get one in really good original condition like this was quite a boost.
Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something new, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of the different tractors and the history behind them. Back to you, Justin.
Sorry guys, you've caught us in the act and promised we haven't been here all day. Have you been here all day?
I thought you said stay in the cake tent all day.
I thought you'd been to at least a couple stands.
I was waiting for you in the cake tent.
You must have been some stands. You're on video.
Am I?
So, Ads, did you enjoy the show today?
Brilliant. Brilliant day at the show.
What did you enjoy about it?
The cake.
We are enjoying the cake. The cake is great. Again, thank you to everyone in today's episode. Links of everything you've seen will be down below. Anything from you?
Cake's brilliant. Love the cake.
He wants cake. I'm loving cake. Thank you all for watching very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Remember, this is for two great causes, and on behalf of us, thank you for watching the show, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers. Right, guys. So, a massive thanks to Nick at Nick's Farm, and Joanna and her father at Dale's Farm. And please, could you please subscribe to their channel?
From me, thank you everyone for watching this episode. On behalf of us, can you please share this on behalf of the NHS and Wellchild charity? Also, any links to Machienery or YouTubers that you've seen will be listed below.